We've all been there staring at a to-do list filled with chores, feeling overwhelmed and tempted to start with the easiest tasks. While it might seem intuitive to ease into the day with small, simple tasks, there's a far more effective strategy for boosting productivity and reducing stress: tackle the chore you least like first. This approach is rooted in a simple yet powerful principle: once the most dreaded task is out of the way, everything else feels easier and more manageable. The reason this strategy works so well lies in how our brains respond to procrastination and avoidance. When faced with an unpleasant task, whether it's cleaning the garage, dealing with a stack of paperwork, or making that uncomfortable phone call, it's easy to push it aside in favor of something less taxing. But that disliked task doesn't just disappear. It lingers in the back of your mind, creating a constant undercurrent of stress and anxiety. By tackling that least favorite task first, you immediately relieve the mental burden of knowing it's looming. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, which describes how unfinished tasks weigh on our minds, often making it harder to focus on other things. By crossing off that challenging item early, your brain is free to move forward with a lighter, clearer focus. This idea echoes what productivity expert Brian Tracy calls the eat that frog technique, based on a Mark Twain quote: "If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first." In this metaphor, the frog represents your most difficult or least appealing task. When you handle the hardest or most undesirable task right away, the rest of your day tends to flow smoothly. You'll often find that smaller tasks seem effortless after you've already conquered the biggest challenge. Another benefit of doing the hardest chore first is the momentum it creates. Once you've tackled something you've been dreading, you experience a sense of accomplishment and pride that propels you through the rest of your tasks. This momentum makes you more likely to approach the remaining chores with enthusiasm and efficiency. In contrast, if you leave the toughest task for last, you might find yourself mentally drained or less motivated by the time you finally face it. The weight of knowing that a disliked task is still ahead can sap your energy throughout the day, making everything feel more difficult. While starting with the hardest task can feel uncomfortable at first, the more often you do it, the easier it becomes. This strategy helps build discipline and resilience, qualities that extend beyond chores and into other areas of life. Once you get into the habit of knocking out the unpleasant tasks first, you train your brain to prioritize challenges head-on, making you more efficient and less likely to procrastinate in the future. The next time you're facing a list of chores, try this simple yet effective strategy: start with the task you dislike the most. Not only will you experience immediate relief from completing it, but everything else will feel easier in comparison. By overcoming your biggest challenge first, you set the tone for a productive and stress-free day,